What happens when a 79-year-old man refuses to be managed, labeled, or silenced by his own children? They tried to strip away his independence, and you won't believe how he flipped the entire system on its head. What happened next made thousands question everything they thought they knew about aging. When you're 79, most people look at you like you're a walking expiration date, a liability in sneakers. Either that, or a harmless grandpa with too much time and too many opinions. The last thing they expect is a guy who reads his morning paper without glasses and still remembers the names of the school bullies from 1952. I'm George Cooper. And yes, I still read the fine print. No magnifiers, no optometrist excuses. Just me, my paper, and coffee strong enough to dissolve rust. Every morning starts the same. Window open, lungs full of real air, not the lemon-scented chemical breeze they pump into retirement homes. Then coffee, then the paper, then, inevitably, judgment. Still no glasses, George? That's Mrs. Ellis, my neighbor. She says it with a smile, but it's the same smile you give a dog who's learned a new trick. Still no glasses, I reply. Just sharp eyes and zero nonsense. You'd think being an active, independent, almost octogenarian would earn respect. But no. My own kids treat it like a personal insult. Take my daughter, Laura. A corporate type. Lives on caffeine and buzzwords. She visits once a week like it's a charity event. Dad, did you seriously carry groceries for old Mrs. Wanda again? She snaps like I'm selling organs out of my garage. She fell. Her hip's not good. Somebody had to. You're not 20 anymore. You can't keep doing this. She says it like helping people is a disease she's trying to cure me of. And don't even get me started on Greg. My son. Built like a linebacker. Thinks like a spreadsheet. We've talked about this, Dad. We're selling the house. You'll be more comfortable in a senior living community. Better care. Less burden. Burden. That word hit harder than arthritis in the winter. They want to put me in a place with key cards and group crafts. No thanks. I built this house with my bare hands. Laid every brick. This place has history. My history. And they're tossing it out like it's an expired coupon. So imagine my mood when I came home from the library, where I'd spent my morning reading Treasure Island to kids, by the way, and found Greg standing on my porch with a real estate agent. Tell me you're not serious, I said, barely keeping my voice steady. It's time, Dad. It's what's best. Best for who? His eyes darted. No answer, just that fake-ass smile the agent wore like a mask. I walked past them, didn't say another word. But inside me, something cracked. Not quietly. Not like a hairline fracture. Like glass under a boot. And that's when I knew. If they were going to bulldoze my life, they'd better bring a wrecking crew. Because I wasn't going down quietly. What happened next changed everything. You won't want to miss how this story explodes from here. The next morning, I didn't even need coffee. My nerves were already boiling hot. I sat on the porch, pretending to read the paper, but I was really imagining tossing Greg off the porch with one hand and flicking Laura out the driveway with the other. Symbolically, of course. I'm not a violent man, just vivid in imagination. Right on cue, the doorbell rang. Laura, holding a folder full of fake concern and that classic expression. Guilt, superiority, and just enough forced kindness to choke on. Dad, please try to understand, she started. We're not trying to hurt you. We just worry about you. Right. That's why you brought a real estate agent while I was at the library, playing babysitter for a bunch of kids who listen better than you two ever did. Her lips tightened. She had no idea how to respond to that. Corporate training didn't cover dads with fire in their belly. This is just a house, Dad, she said softly. Number just a house is what you live in. A two-bedroom rental with laminate flooring and a husband who forgot your birthday 3 years running. This question mark, this is my life. They came back 2 days later. Together. Greg with his arms crossed, Laura with a stack of pamphlets like a pharmaceutical rep selling side effects. "Look, it's not a prison," Greg said. "There's a rec room, a shared kitchen, a nurse on call. You'll be safer." "Safer from what?" I barked. "Bookshelves? Gas stoves? My own thoughts?" I picked up one of the brochures, smiled, walked it straight over to the fireplace and tossed it in. It caught flame immediately. Beautiful. Symbolic. Dramatic. Theatric. Just how I like it. They watched it burn like it was a personal insult. Good. It was. But they weren't done. On Friday, they escalated. They brought in a so-called elder care consultant. Blonde, smiling, clipboard, voice soft enough to make soup out of stone. "Mr. Cooper, we just want to help. It's common, at your age, to feel resistant to change." "Don't do that," I cut her off. "Don't age-splain me with your concern. I don't need a babysitter in scrubs." She smiled tighter, made a few notes on her clipboard, the kind of notes people make right before they suggest sedation or supervised bingo nights. That night, I sat at my desk and started writing. Not a journal entry, not a complaint. A letter, a real one, with a pen, on paper. "To whom it may concern," I began. "I am not confused. I am not in decline. I am not in danger. I am George Cooper, and I have something to say." I sent it to the local paper. I made copies, mailed one to the city council, dropped another off at the library. I even left a copy in the coffee shop I visit every Thursday. Because if they thought I was going to fade quietly into some sterilized apartment with an emergency button around my neck, they picked the wrong grandpa. This is the turning point. Everything you've been waiting for? It's coming next. Stick around and watch what happens when a man decides enough is enough. 4 days later, right at 6 a.m., my old tin mailbox groaned like it knew something was up. It wasn't just the paper this time. There was a letter. Thick envelope, local newspaper logo. I opened it with one eye on my coffee mug and the other on the sunrise. Inside, confirmation. They were printing it. My letter. Full page, front section. No edits. "It's too raw to ignore," the editor wrote. Raw? Damn right. I didn't write it to be polite. I wrote it so people would finally stop treating folks like me as background furniture. I sat back and let that sink in. Somewhere out there, people were going to read about George Cooper. Not the old guy with good vision, but the man who decided he wouldn't be shrink-wrapped into someone else's version of what a safe retirement looks like. By noon, a car pulled up. I expected Laura, or some HOA rat. But out stepped a kid. Maybe 30, camera bag over his shoulder, shirt wrinkled like he lived in his car. "Mr. Cooper," he said. "James, I run the YouTube channel, Old But Bold. Mind if I ask you a few questions?" I looked him over. Young, sure, but not stupid. His eyes didn't carry pity. They carried curiosity. "Sure," I said. "Come on the porch. But if you make me look like a sad sap, I'll make you eat your boom mic." We talked for an hour. I didn't hold back. I told him about the real estate ambush, the brochures, the woman with the weaponized smile and clipboard. I told him about the fire in the fireplace and the fire in my gut. "Why do you think this resonated so much?" he asked. "Because people are tired of being handled," I said. "Old folks, young folks, everybody's sick of systems making choices for them and slapping a label on it called care." The video went live the next day and exploded. Tens of thousands of views. Comments from every corner of the country. People writing, "That's my dad. My grandma was put in a facility without her consent. Still haunts me. George Cooper is my hero." Hero? I wasn't aiming for that. I just wanted to breathe without someone timing my oxygen intake. The library called. They wanted me to come back and read to the kids. The mayor's office sent a letter. They wanted to discuss the concerns raised in your publication. Even a church group reached out, offering support for seniors facing autonomy issues. And then Greg called. "Dad, we didn't mean for it to go like this." "Didn't mean what?" I said. "Didn't mean to take my keys? My dignity? We just wanted to help." "No, you wanted to manage, control. Help comes with consent. Yours didn't." He hung up. I wasn't mad about that. Hanging up was the most honest thing he'd done in weeks. Then Bob knocked on my door. Bob, 84, bad hip, sharp tongue. "Read your piece," he said. "Thought I was alone. Turns out I'm not. Thanks for shouting." I didn't respond, just nodded. Sometimes that's enough. See, this whole thing? It's bigger than me now. It's about every person who's ever been told they're past it. It's about pushing back. It's about dignity. And it's just getting started. We're not done yet. Not by a long shot. The final move? It's coming next. And you're going to want a front row seat. 2 weeks later, I was back on my porch. Same chair, same mug, same paper. But everything felt different. The house was mine again. Not in legal terms, though it was, but in spirit. The soul of the place had returned, and so had I. It wasn't a gift. It wasn't a family decision. It was a retreat, a surrender. Laura and Greg had been hounded by phone calls, side-eyed in their social circles, and blasted in the comment sections like they'd kicked a puppy on live TV. Laura came first. She carried a cardboard box like it weighed 1,000 pounds. Inside, my old photo albums, my books, even my notes from when I used to teach woodworking at the community center. "Dad," she said, setting it down. "I'm sorry. For all of it." "Which part?" I asked. "Trying to sell my house? Making decisions without me? Or telling the world I was losing it?" She didn't answer right away. Tears welled up, but I didn't jump to comfort her. This wasn't a movie. It was real life, and real life means sitting in your mess until you understand it. Then came Greg. No box, just keys. He placed them on the porch rail like an offering. "We bought it back," he said. "Full price. Took a loss. Doesn't matter." "Did it hurt?" I asked. "Letting go of your illusion of control?" He nodded. More than I thought. I didn't hug him, but I nodded back. That was our version of intimacy, a mutual grunt and shared silence. That night, I went through the box Laura brought, found an old cassette from my wife. Her voice, still crisp. She'd recorded a message years ago after one of her hospital stays. "If you're hearing this, you're probably being stubborn again. Don't let them talk over you, George. You've got a better compass than all of them combined." I laughed, loud, startled the cat. Then I cried a little, quiet, didn't tell anyone. Next morning, a van pulled up, big letters on the side. Voices of the elders. Out stepped James, the camera guy from YouTube. He looked older already, maybe just more awake. "We're going national," he said. "Interviews, speaking gigs, you in?" "Am I getting paid?" He blinked. "Just kidding," I said. "But seriously, let's go show them what 79 looks like when it's not smothered in bubble wrap." He handed me the itinerary. Dozens of towns, community centers, libraries, even a few universities. I packed a small bag, threw in my best flannel, my reading glasses, still unused, and a copy of my letter to the editor. Before I left, I stood on my porch and looked around. Same tree, same mailbox, same stubborn old man. You know what I never did? I never stopped moving. I never accepted too old as a diagnosis. I never let them talk me into silence. And I sure as hell never put on those damn glasses. This isn't just my story. It's a wake-up call for every family member who thinks help means control, for every policymaker who thinks age equals incapacity, for every young face that assumes gray hair means no fire left. Spoiler, there is, and it burns hotter than ever. And if you thought this was the end, you haven't been paying attention. I'm just getting warmed up.